Terrific Tuesday, my Move in the Chains audience. We are back, repping some new Raider merch, baby. Rocking and rolling. Let's go. 2 more days, people. Football is finally back. I cannot wait. My seasonal depression has finally ended. Thank you. God help us. We are back. So, I want to touch on a couple things today. I'm going to give my AFC North predictions like I've been doing the next couple days. Each day give you guys different predictions on what I think each division is going to look like this year, AFC and NFC. So right now, I'm going to go over AFC North. But I wanted to touch on something. I saw the Broncos, which I can't stand because I'm a Raider fan, they gave Courtland Sutton a contract the other day. I actually liked it from a standpoint of the Broncos needed this guy. He's one of their big play receivers, big body, contested catch guy. I'm all for it. He did help Bo Nix out last year. I think Courtland Sutton's kind of got, I was thinking about this driving home tonight, kind of had like the career, kind of like Larry Fitzgerald. I'm not saying he is the same player, but just in terms of like, he's a pro's pro. He's a good dude, quiet, humble, doesn't brag, doesn't bitch. He's a top 20 receiver in the league. I don't think he's a top 5. But I think for Denver, what he's been and what his importance has been through all the revolving door around quarterbacks, I do think he's helped kind of any quarterback that's been in there. Drew Lock, Flacco for that little bit during 2019. He's just kind of been there, done it. He's a big play guy, matchup night for any corner. So locking him up, for me, helps Bo Nix a lot because Bo Nix has got Marvin Mims. He's got the tight end, I think his name's Timmerman or something like that, or that's the Rams guy that was on the Super Bowl team back in '99. So I think that this works for Denver. I'm glad they went and they paid their receiver already. You have some pieces in place. Your offensive line's really good. I hate saying that. God, it just pains me saying that Denver's going to be good this year. Fuck. But, Sean Payton's a hell of a coach. We'll see what happens in Denver. But I did like that signing a lot, extending your own guys. That's a good foundation for a good organization, which the Broncos are trying to become after that disaster that was Russell Wilson a couple of years ago. So, I wanted to touch on AFC North today. So, last year I had Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers. I'm going to flip it this year. Ravens number 1. Listen, Max Lawson knows it as well as anybody. He's the biggest Ravens fan I know. Love you, brother. I got Ravens number 1. I don't know if they're gonna win this division. I could see Cincinnati dethroning them, but until Cincinnati gets a defense, I don't see it. I'll go Baltimore. They're well run. They're both well run in that division. John Harbaugh, Eric DeCosta, GM, Steve Bisciotti, the owner. They just know what they're doing. They're high level operation. I'm going to roll with the Ravens going in there. This is a big year, though. I mean, when are they going to not kick this door down and beat the Kansas City Chiefs? It's about time, Baltimore. You've had your shot, but you got to show me in the playoffs. I got question marks on the Ravens in the playoffs, especially Lamar, but I'm going to roll with the Baltimore Ravens winning this division in the AFC North. Bengals, like I just said off the top, I do believe the Bengals are just got a lot of weird shit going on. Kind of like Raider-esque, but not on that level. And we'll touch on my Raiders tomorrow after the whole Christian Wilkins nonsense. Good God. But that's a whole other story for tomorrow. Give you a sneak peek preview, I just think the Bengals, I don't like how they've been built. I'm all for building, getting weapons, and getting the sexy sports cars on the outside. But it comes down to trench play in the middle. They have not had that. I mean, I can go back to that 2021 Super Bowl run they had. Burrow got sacked 70 times in that game, in that year. But they are fun to watch when they're clicking and they're on all cylinders. Burrow and Chase and Higgins, and Gesicki last year balled. I've always liked Mike Gesicki. Torched my Raiders in that game, but I the Bengals, they're an interesting watch. I mean, they're fun to watch. But I just kind of have this feeling like Joe Burrow. It's kind of like Matt Stafford that first go around in Detroit, where he's putting up all these numbers but it's just little to show for it. But at least Burrow's been to a Super Bowl and beaten Mahomes and the Chiefs. But I don't know. I just feel like this organization's kind of cheap. You cannot fake cheapness in terms of ownership. It's like the Bulls in basketball when they were winning those titles. I just can't take it seriously. So we'll see with the Bengals. They did give Shamar Stewart his contract. If Trey Henderson comes back, now they got a little bit of a pass rush duo, and they should be more competitive than they were last year. The problem for me, I did have Cleveland last year third, not knowing all the Deshaun Watson nonsense that was going down. I will give Pittsburgh the third spot in that division. Look, I know Aaron Rodgers, and listen, I love him, but I'm old. I'm tired of his act. I'm not going to beat the dead horse. He is what he is. I just don't know what they do. I mean, it's Pittsburgh. I mean, I know they've had the most wins since 2000 and the third most, and I get all that. But it's time to move on. I would have moved on from Tomlin. It's a clean slate, but they're not going to do it. They just won't do it. They refuse to do it. Excuse me. I'm just not bought in on Pittsburgh, but they're going to be much more better at quarterback in terms of what they were last year. You know, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson kind of down the stretch kind of sputtered. But I do think they're going to be better. I don't know how much better, but they're going to be better on offense, including the quarterback. But I just don't sense any direction. Their offensive line's a little bit makeshift. You got three combustible guys. You have DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers. That's just going to be a combustible mix, but we shall see how that goes down. And I just don't know with Pittsburgh in terms of their defense. I mean, they let go of Minka, but they signed Jalen Ramsey. Is that a great signing? I don't know. I feel like he's kind of washed. He's old, kind of past his prime. Kind of reminds me of Moneyball, the movie. Like, they're signing guys based on name, not in terms of production. Kind of pain in the ass guys, but if you can buy in, then it could be a good payoff for you in that realm. And then the last but not least, I think the Cleveland Browns, they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year, which is a shame because I really like Kevin Stefanski. I really like Andrew Berry. I was telling my dad this the other night. Very high-level guys, Penn, Princeton guys that just have to deal with an owner. It's just an absolute dumbass. And, you know, I saw a story today. I'm going to touch on Cleveland. I shouldn't, but I just found this funny. Is that Jimmy Haslam said, quote, "Yeah, I didn't pick Shador." Come again? Yeah, you did. You picked Shador. Because you picked Galen Gabriel third in the draft, by the way, moron, and you just said, you know what? He's been waiting this long. Let's just pick him. Let's just do it. And they did not want him. And I think Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, they were like, they didn't want him. They didn't want him, Jimmy. This is on you. And it's a shame because I look at Cleveland and I'm like I just mentioned off the top, like, they have good owners, like, they have a good coach, and they have a good GM. They draft well. They my whole time being a fan, I mean, they had Baker, and then they let him go, which at the time was the right move. Was not in theory, but it was the right move. Baker was mature enough. I admit it now. Okay? So, again, I just don't know with Cleveland. I like their roster. I like their team. But it just comes down to ownership. And when you got a moron being an owner, it's hard. And I'm not sure what they do at quarterback. They got four of them. They're going to probably trade one of them at the draft. I don't know what they're going to do. Because I assume they're going to take Arch Manning, which I would not do. I know the ties, and I heard Coward say, well, you know, that they're friends with I got all that. But to me, when I go back to quarterbacking, and I say this all the time, where do you play matters in terms of arm strength. And I'm not saying it's the end-all, be-all, but it matters. Okay? The NFC North, AFC North, big, strong arms help. Burrow's got a good enough arm to work. Excuse me. So, we'll see with Cleveland. I have a hard time buying they're going to be a playoff team again. I just do. Because I like their defense. I like their offensive personnel to a degree. Jerry Jeudy and Njoku. Forward, the running back's nice. And, you know, they shouldn't be as turnover prone like they were with Jameis, even though it was fun to watch. Kind of like Brett Favre back in the day. But we shall see. And, you know, that's where I'm going to land with Cleveland. So, hope you guys are doing well. Terrific Tuesday, everybody. Have a great night. Adios. Stay tuned. Godspeed.